I never really accepted the fact that I was that overweight. Even to this day, I'm in total denial. I just have a few pounds covering a 20-year-old tough body, you know. I weighed very close to 400 pounds, and I had a lot of pain in my feet. I pretty much suspected that I probably was headed for having diabetes. Pacific Hearing Aid Center, this is Charles. I had a lady that came into my office that was a few years older than myself, that had been diagnosed with diabetes or high blood sugar, and had trouble walking from the parking lot into my office. This had happened to her just in about 10 months of discovering that she had high blood sugar. And it really scared me, so I checked mine, and it was way higher than what hers was. Okay, how old is she? She's probably not the only one that's ever come in here kicking and screaming. All right, bye. I've got to get my act together here. So I decided that I did not want to be diagnosed with diabetes. So I decided to control my diet myself and bought a testing kit. I was able to control it down to like about 150, but always pretty soon it would go back up. I would, stop being as careful. I went to the doctor and I said, if I don't do anything about this, what's the future like? He said, well, you probably won't be here in 10 years, and along the way you're going to have a heart attack or two and probably lose a foot and some things like that. And I was raising my grandchildren, and I said, well, I've got to be here for them. If I'm not here, they're in trouble. So he said, well, we can make that happen if you'll follow my directions. So he put me on 30 units of insulin a day and 1,000 units of metformin. He gave me a diet to follow and nutritional classes to go to at the hospital. And I had to be very careful about how many oranges or how much of an orange I ate at one time, and lots of things like that. I had a friend that would stop by once in a while to visit who was taking about exactly the same amount of insulin and metformin that I was, and we'd always talk about that. And one time he stopped by and he said, well, he was off all of his medication, he'd gotten on a new diet. And I said, well, what is it? He said, well, I don't eat anything that originated from an animal. And he says, I can eat all the oranges or fruit I want, and my blood sugar never spikes very high.
Do you think we need to make another batch or what?
No. So at about the same time, I met Annette, my fiancée now, and she's quite knowledgeable about being a vegan, and invited me to go to a reversing diabetes seminar.
That's it.
And then when I got home, it's a challenge to actually make those changes in your life. And she came up to visit and decided that instead of using up all of the things that I had in the cupboard and slowly making the transition, it was time to throw about half the stuff in the cupboard in the garbage and get started. Which didn't make me real happy at the time, but looking back on it, it's definitely the thing that a person needs to do if you're actually going to make a change.
Yeah, this was part of the throwing everything out and starting over. You can see that we have like the nuts and the legumes and the different kinds of flours here.
Well, this is all like our short grain rice, 9-grain cereal, rolled oats, pinto beans, lentils. Pretty much everything is made from scratch. And one of the things that is a major shift is you don't just run home after work and make dinner quickly. You really have to make it the day before. But as long as you do that, it's a pretty simple thing, and actually the whole family has learned to enjoy it. And Annette helped me put together our own cookbook.
Most of these recipes are from the Reversing Diabetes and Obesity seminar that we went to.
She has all organized here in all the different sections.
Want some of those?
I sure do. I originally went to the doctor 4.5 years ago, and 3 years ago is when I went to the Reversing Diabetes seminar. Within about 3 weeks, I cut the insulin to about 10 units a day. In another week or so, was off of that completely. And about a month later, quit the metformin. Once I was on the program for a couple of months, really could actually feel a change in my body. The tiredness left, definitely more energy. And so it's been 3 years, and I have made a lot of progress. I actually weigh about 140 pounds less than when I started. I've got about another 60 pounds to lose. Even though I'm in my mid-50s, really feel better than I did in my 30s. Annette liked to backpack, and one of the first things that I heard about her doing was hiking the John Muir Trail. And I obviously was not in shape to do that, but when we started going out together and visiting each other, it was highly motivating to me to get into shape so that I could do that. And she immediately started talking about, at that time, one of her goals was hiking the Tahoe Rim Trail. So I had this vision of getting in shape and hiking the Tahoe Rim Trail without having a heart attack. Well, last summer, I was able to do that with her. Actually carried a 70-pound pack for 50 miles, and it was a lot of fun to be able to do that. And I am tired when we're done, but still upright and very much alive. So, and it feels good to do that. It feels good to be able to accomplish something, to push yourself physically, and feeling tired, physically tired. You know, I feel like a person sleeps much better, and it definitely lifts your mental attitude. You know, it's kind of like the stick and the carrot. You know, you have the stick behind you, you're going to die, lose your feet, do all these things if you don't change your life. But also, I believe the Lord gave me Annette. That was the real carrot that God held out in front of me, was to resume life, become active again, do all of these activities with a very interesting person that He brought into my life.